PlaceHolder is an experimental mapping project that asks the question, can observing, listening to, and creatively engaging in the many narratives in our world help us to heal it? I combined my love for object making and my curiosity for psychology and spirituality and created a body map. The first version of the map is autobiographical. Each sphere on this illustrated body houses a word, a concept that represents the major experiences of my life. Each line that connects each sphere documents a journey in my life. For example, on the path from compassion to death, I thought back to an experience of letting go of something I loved and the process of forgiveness. This process served as a unique way to revisit and better understand my personal narratives. I recreated this body map into a larger piece using watercolors to create more dynamic and colorful elements. I printed the images onto a cloth blanket. I chose to make the map into a blanket because I wanted a format that allowed for variety. I travel often and wanted something I could bring with me and use in different environments. I spent some time thinking of different uses for this mapping system. I created a book that had various sets of instructions. I created a set of oracle cards to be used as a way to interpret or receive advice around a personal problem or situation. I created ritual uses with the map, lighting and placing tea lights on certain areas of the map for meditative purposes. It could be used as a storytelling tool similar to the Game of Runes. I created herbal blends that corresponded with each of the orbs along the body map. By creating uses and games out of these elements, I was able to bring my personal mythology to life. I could use art to connect and communicate my personal experience to others in the form of these 11 concepts I've created on the body map. The concepts I worked with were movement, curiosity, resistance, creation, compassion, stoicism, birth, joy, inspiration, pain, and death. As I created new ways to use this mapping system as a narrative collecting process, I wondered if it was possible to change my role from the creator of the narratives to a facilitator of the narratives. I wanted to use the system to guide the narrative of others into an entirely new and co-created art piece. I wanted to explore the ideas of observing, listening, and engaging as a form of collage, as a collective of multiple narratives. I decided that an interview format would work best for this experiment. I created a series of 11 questions. Each question corresponded to a conceptual orb found on my body map, grounding the interviews into my personal experience. I then asked a participant to answer this series of questions. For example, I would take the concept of compassion and ask, what is the gift you have to share with the world? What is the best thing you have to offer it? The participant would then answer. I recorded and transcribed these responses. At the end of the interview, I asked them to create a new set of 11 questions. I was pleasantly surprised by how much the participants enjoyed the interviewing process. It seems that before we even offer solutions to others, they prefer for us simply to listen and understand their experience. It also became very interesting to watch the ways in which people took concepts that are personal to me and create questions around them that were outside of my own experience. I wanted to take this project and turn it into a gift for those that had shared so much insight through the interviews with me. I turned each interview into a piece of mythology. I took the questions from an individual interview and created a narrative. I created a visual around each interview. The visual elements in the interview process helped it become more alive. Each of these images could become pieces of a new game, of a new collection of narrative, beyond the body map I had initially made. I decided to create individual prints of each mythological visual representation, as well as an oracle deck that collected the experience of all 8 interviews that were conducted. These images and narratives created around the interviews weren't meant to assume what a person was, how they were represented, or where they came from. It was simply a way of taking the information that they graciously provided me and others with and elevating it to a new, more visual and tactile form. I had hoped that by turning these interviews into visuals that they could be more easily connected to each other and also rearranged. It became a new form of collage within the project. It became a constellation of sorts. I'm not yet sure how the Oracle deck can be used, since it's a collaborative process that contains insight and wisdom from many individuals. Perhaps simply having the complete set of all of the archetypes and a complete mythology is support enough for the participant. They will receive a deck of each archetype, a printout of their specific archetype, as well as a transcript of all of the interviews. A personal message will be included in each package. This is only the beginning of the experiment of PlaceHolder and new manifestations of narrative collection.